you start to sell off pieces, even though you still have Tua under contract, you don't know if Tyreek Hill's going to play again. Are you going to get rid of your best receiver in Jalen Waddle? You're going to get rid of your edge rushers. Like, is this a complete rebuild with a guy who's making $54 million? I don't know what the upside is. If I'm a coaching candidate and you're going to try to entice me to go to the Dolphins, you're not enticing me by getting rid of your best receiver and or some of your edge rushers, because the Dolphins do have talent, and that was a game for at least one half. After that, it just felt like the Dolphins were sitting around going, yeah, Lamar's pretty good. When's this game over? Just felt like, let's put a stamp on it, mail it in. I can't see taking the wrecking ball and saying we're going to rebuild.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekdays 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Give it up.
When you're a couple, you're a team. I give you. It's Rob Parker.
Let's just deal with the facts.
Not the feeling.
It's Kelvin Washington.
Man, let's ride.
Put your hands together.
And they're the odd couple. Teaming up and making plays.
Dude, you can be the guy.
Most nights. I'm the poo-poo king.
Oh, boy.
I want to hear what they have to say.
I'm not gonna lie, the Chiefs were clinched.
Listen to The Odd Couple every weekday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. FS1.
Looking for the one, what you looking at the one?
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Looking for the one, what you looking at?
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
We are Fox Sports. And here's what you need to know.
The NFL trade deadline is set for Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and the Eagles are making more moves. They've acquired Dolphins linebacker Jalen Phillips in exchange for a 2026 third-round draft pick. Chargers standout left tackle Joe Alt suffered a season-ending ankle injury this weekend. Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels suffered a dislocated left elbow against the Seahawks. He is out indefinitely, and head coach Dan Quinn, speaking to the media today, says it's 100% on him. In the NBA, Lakers will be without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves tonight as they take on Portland. Spurs guard Dylan Harper has suffered a left calf strain and is expected to miss multiple weeks. In Major League Baseball, Red Sox third baseman Alex Bregman, Yankees outfielder and first baseman Cody Bellinger, and Mets closer Edwin Diaz are some of the players opting out of their contracts to become free agents. And the Braves are hiring Walt Weiss as their new manager. I'm Monty Bolaños.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, we are back on a Monday. It's a Reaction Monday across South Dakota. Welcome in. Hope you're doing great. The Nate Brown Show is ready. South Dakota Sports Talk Show back live on Fox Sports Radio. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Say it with me, except for when it's already dark at this time of day. I mean, come on, give me a break. Anyway, producer of the Nate Brown Show loves the darkness coming in early. So there is one person on this program that does love the darkness. We're going to light it up tonight. Let's get it going. The Nate Brown Show back on Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. Hope you had a solid weekend. Let's get going on streaming at Nate Brown Show. You can watch the show on X at Nate Brown Show. So interact with us on Twitter. We'll take a look at the account throughout the show and watch the show live across the state on X at Nate Brown Show. The Nate Brown Show is the YouTube channel. We're up live there. The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe to the channel. You've got us there. And one more place, Midwest Sports Plus, the new high school sports streaming app. All of the live games and the Nate Brown Show live weekday afternoons. Midwest Sports Plus, the new high school sports app. The Nate Brown Show is on, presented by Black Hills Federal Credit Union with 18 locations from the Black Hills to Sioux Falls. It's my family's banking partner. I want you to know that's the best choice we made. Switch from our last bank to this bank. Become a member at Black Hills Federal Credit Union. The right choice. From mobile banking on my phone, it's really convenient. You got teenagers like me. Hey, they need stuff, right? You can do it all right there. Convenience, technology, and a personal connection. Black Hills Federal Credit Union, our new partners. The Nate Brown Show, powered by BHFCU. Become a member. Really easy to get started. BHFCU.com. The Nate Brown Show on this Monday looks like this. Thor Nystrom is in tonight. NFL college football analyst, covers the Vikings from the Twin Cities. We will talk to Thor coming up from Minneapolis. High school football playoffs rolling. Big games coming up. Jason Andera is going to preview this week, Friday night. Jason Andera is on tonight from SDPB Sports. We will go to the FCS. A lot of news over the weekend. We know that from the FCS level. Sam Herder is on tonight, FCS senior analyst with HeroSports.com. And it is a Reaction Monday in the second hour. Hang on, a full hour of your guest host, Rob Kegron. And I'm going to demand an apology about him killing the Vikings. He already had them dead. He had them dead, and then he got some of you guys to believe it. Rob Kegron, national radio host and guest host of the Nate Brown Show on a Reaction Monday. Kegron's coming in next hour. If you want to be a part of the show, we'll get you on if we can. 605-720-1067. That's the number. Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, 605-720-1067. Powered by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet tonight. And the Barron's Wilson text line, open and ready. Direct text the show, 605-720-1067. Same number. Text the show on the text line. Okay, ton of football stories to react to from the weekend. When you're a South Dakota sports fan, a ton of football stories, 3 different levels. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit it all right here or not, but 3 different levels for South Dakota sports fans, depending on who you're rooting for. There were some intriguing storylines and some things that happened over the weekend, and you got to get dialed in. Now, here's one that hits you right up alongside the head, is South Dakota State losing to Indiana State. Here's where I'm at. I've followed SDSU. I've talked to Coach Stig over the years, had him on the show every week, and understand the program that he built, and it took a while to get to this level. Stig put the pieces in place, and all of the great assistant coaches from Eck to Clark Lee, and the list goes on. Jimmy Rogers now at Washington State. So this took a long time to build at South Dakota State, and it's so interesting to me. This was a bad loss to Indiana State. It was a huge favorite for the Jacks. Indiana State's not good. They kind of fight hard. I think they fought hard against USD a couple of weeks ago, if you look at it. But I didn't see it coming. You guys didn't see it coming. And the reason I say it took a while to build this program and get to a certain level, well, you can't flip the script and now all of a sudden the program's not at a certain level. Everybody's talking about this loss to Indiana State. Well, it's a terrible loss, and I wonder if they're just not going to be the team anymore. They're just nothing. They can't compete. We have to kind of keep it in perspective a little bit. Is South Dakota State a team with Gronowski and some of these guys we've seen? No, they're not. But let's just pull it back a little bit tonight and say, backup quarterback to another third-string quarterback. I mean, they've got injuries to the best wide receiver. There's some problems here with everybody. Now, if you had Chase Mason, you guys are full strength, and you're losing to Indiana State, well, then we can have some big problems. But I'm honestly here to tell you, and I'm not a Jacks apologist. I don't have any tie-in, right? I'm just looking at it objectively from watching the program, seeing what level they've been at, and seeing a couple of hits here to NDSU, and now a bad one to Indiana State. This isn't a program that has just fallen off the cliff. I am convinced they have not fallen off the cliff. The injuries have been bad. And we act like, should you be able to beat Indiana State with injuries? You probably should, but I can't take big time. Why do we all of a sudden think about, well, the Jacks don't have their number one quarterback, their real player, maybe their best offensive player, and we expect them to just be just fine? And that's why, because Stig and this program has built a level where Indiana State couldn't touch them. Indiana State couldn't even touch these guys. So now when you have some problems on the injury side and maybe the team's not quite as good as past years, well, then it adds up and you get knocked off. A stunner. But I'm not going to come back on here today and say, oh, man, we got to. I mean, I actually saw people questioning about the coaches. I don't know. Is Dan Jackson? Are you guys? Don't be crazy. I know we can get crazy on a Monday. Let's not get crazy. This isn't falling off the cliff. The Jacks need their best players. And they have some key guys. Key guys. Now, are they not as good defensively? Doesn't look like it. Are they not as good up front on the offensive line? Doesn't look like it. So there is some maybe a little fall off, but we've gone from 0 to 100, and it's a classic overreaction. That's a bad loss to Indiana State. There's no doubt. But we act like they were full strength and everything. If we look at an NFL team, you take an NFL team, your Vikings, for example. When the Vikings lose with Carson Wentz, we shouldn't think that's, well, man, they should have won. When they don't have Darrisaw in some of these games, O'Neal, some of these real key players, Jordan Addison early on, we act, the NFL teams, we say, well, they don't have these guys, and they don't have this guy. South Dakota State, they lose to Indiana State. It's a bad loss, but we act like we just go from, well, this was a great program, and now we question everything. I'm not going there today. Very surprising. I thought South Dakota State just depth chart-wise was better all the way across the board. But it turns out you lose some key guys. You don't have as much talent up front and on the defensive side. There's probably going to be some problems. Am I going to tell you South Dakota State's going to go on a run this year? It's iffy. Doesn't look like they're going to go on a run. I told you last week after the North Dakota State thing, and some people said, oh, there's a lot of season left. I just said, North Dakota State, whether they had a tough time with Youngstown or not, that's going to be a party up there in Fargo this year. I mean, if I'm looking at it FCS-wise, North Dakota State's the juggernaut. North Dakota State is the team. And we don't want to hear it. We don't like saying it. I saw it last week. I'll say it again. So South Dakota State's not falling off a cliff, guys. And just look for this game this week. USD, South Dakota State. Who are you taking? Who are you? What's most likely to happen? That's a better question tonight. What's most likely to happen Saturday? The Jacks get back on track or the Yotes knock them off? Jacks have lost back-to-back now. NDSU beat down. Indiana State stunner. And I'm here to tell you, if Chase Mason isn't back, if he's not ready Saturday, there's going to be some problems. I mean, it's really, really, really evident. There's going to be some big problems. How can the Jacks go from winning at Montana State? They win at Montana State, and then we just have them, they've fallen off the cliff. Never to be heard from again. I'm not buying that. Let's see. What's most likely to happen? Jacks get back on track Saturday, or the Yotes knock them off? What is your vote tonight on a Monday as we start the big rivalry week? This game I had in the books quite a while ago, and USD was really struggling out of the gate. Now they found a little bit. And if they have Bauman, they're going to have a big advantage with Bauman and no Chase Mason. I mean, that's a huge advantage for USD. I mean, massive. So that's how I play it. I'm here to tell you right now. Here it is. It's a stunner. Wait for it. If Chase Mason plays, the Jacks win. If Chase Mason doesn't play, the Yotes win. Is it that simple? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say it's that simple tonight on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. So I hate to, I don't know if I'm breaking any news there, but sometimes we break this down and points above replacement. Hey, we got to do this. And how good are we on fourth down? We're not very good on fourth down. If Chase Mason plays, the Jacks win. If Chase Mason doesn't play, Yotes, huge advantage. Aiden Bauman, huge advantage. It's Yotes. What would you say? Let's look at the votes here. 605-720-1067, the Barron's Wilson text line. What's most likely to happen Saturday? Jacks get back on track or Yotes with the win? 53% voting Yotes tonight. 110 votes coming in on the Nate Brown Show question of the day. 53% say Yotes get the win. 47% Jacks will get back on track. Now, that is surprising to me. You wouldn't have even thought this would be a question until you've seen the last couple of weeks with South Dakota State. The way SDSU started the season, some big wins, you wouldn't even think this would be a question. The way USD started the season. And now they're turning the corner. I like what I see with the Yotes. They got it going a little bit. 53% are going Yotes on this Monday. That is interesting. Listener reaction from Zach. Not sure if it'd be much of an upset, though Mason playing could significantly change the equation. I'm with you. That's it. I mean, that's the X factor. So my vote on this Monday, it all hinges. I just told you, Mason playing, Chase Mason playing, I go with the Jacks. They haven't fallen off the cliff, guys. The program's not demoralized. I mean, it's not over. If the Yotes have Bauman and the Jacks don't have Chase Mason, look out. USD's got it. USD's got it. Listener text coming in. I'm going to stay with my prediction that SDSU might not win another game this season. Yeah, I saw this one from you. I saw this one from you last week, and I scoffed a little bit. But what do you know that I don't know? I'm not going to agree with you, though. It hasn't fallen off the cliff yet. Chase Mason's the X factor. When he comes back, and if he's healthy, the Jacks will be back in the mix. They're not NDSU. Nobody is. Nobody is. How about that win for the Yotes over UND? I mean, how about that for the Coyotes over UND? I mean, I was looking at UND coming along. Look out. And the Yotes with the top 10 win over UND? Look out. All right. Listener text, Coyotes kick the Jackrabbits to the curb. I'm not so sure about that. Let me get into this story here tonight. So we got a lot of guests. We got a lot to get to. High school football playoffs are underway. You have some teams that are doing really well, and one that's getting noticed big time is Sioux Falls Christian. And Sioux Falls Christian now looking to win an 11A state championship. They're look like the heavy favorite. They look like the heavy favorite. Well, in high school sports, I've had people send me messages about not just Sioux Falls Christian, but other private schools. They say these private schools, they have an unfair advantage. They can recruit. They recruit kids in, and then they win all these games. It's an unfair advantage when Sioux Falls Christian and St. Thomas More and whoever you want to say is playing these other schools. People send that stuff into me. Well, I see this post from the Mount Vernon Plankinton superintendent today. I just saw it today. This was last week. Mount Vernon Plankinton superintendent. Here is a statement. I'm home from another state cross-country meet and a continuing issue to almost everyone involved in athletics, except apparently the Activities Association, who continues to do nothing, is the private school issue. When you have a private school with different rules than public schools, there is an uneven playing field. Both boys and girls cross-country champs came from one private school, and the same school will likely win a football title, maybe volleyball, likely repeat in basketball, repeat in track, boys and girls. This has been a continuing issue for quite a few years. There are other states that have policies with a point system based on team success, and after 3 years, if you have a certain number of points, you move up a class. It is time for the Activities Association to do the right thing. That's a public post Mount Vernon Plankinton superintendent, and pointing out there's an uneven playing field. Some of these private schools in South Dakota high school sports, they have huge advantages like Sioux Falls Christian in a big market, and then they play in a smaller school class and they smoke everybody. Now, this is interesting. This has been going on for a long time. I used to get this stuff about St. Thomas More when they had such a strong run. 4 state boys basketball titles. 7 girls basketball titles, right? 6 or 7. So and now you look at St. Thomas More football, they're in the semifinals Friday night. So I used to get this stuff, and now it keeps coming up. My question is, what do people want from some of the private schools in South Dakota high school sports? What do people want? You just want to move up Sioux Falls Christian after they've won a certain amount? But let me guess. Are you arguing it with me that we can't let teams move down that don't win? See, this is what I'm trying to figure out. I've been trying to get teams that are really struggling to be able to move down in football. Now we have an argument from a superintendent that says, hey, Sioux Falls Christian, they win so much in every sport. The Activity Association has to come up with a system, a success factor, and move them up. I want to know which is right. Because some people argue you can't let teams move down. But now we see an argument, well, we got to move some of these private schools, specifically, we got to move the private school up because they have too many. It's an unfair advantage. What is it? Uneven playing field is what it was said. Uneven playing field. So let me ask you this question of the day, and we'll talk about it more as the show goes on tonight. Are there legitimate complaints about South Dakota private schools having an advantage in high school sports? I honestly, as I think about it, I've been on both sides of this. I've been at a private school. I've been at a public school. So I've seen both sides of this. People say the private schools recruit. Last time I checked, there's open enrollment. So public schools, I've seen them recruit for sports too. I hate to break it to everybody. I mean, you guys know it. So, but we like pointing out, well, this is the problem. We can't compete. This is the problem. It's this school and that school. I thought open enrollment allowed everybody to go anywhere. You tell me, do South Dakota private schools have an unfair advantage in high school sports? Yes or no, they just build solid programs. You tell me. Okay, just getting going on South Dakota Sports Talk Show tonight. Thor Nystrom is in, NFL college football analyst, talking Vikings. What a win yesterday. The Nate Brown Show just getting started.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Hey, it's Nate Brown for Atomic Wings, 2 locations in Sioux Falls. You don't need to keep going to the mediocre wing places with too much breading and wings that don't have any meat. Atomic Wings is different. I know firsthand. Their boneless wings are made with fresh chicken right there. The best wings I've had. 15 unique flavors to choose from sweet to heat. Huge traditional wings, fresh boneless wings for game day, lunch, or dinner. 2 locations in Sioux Falls. Just order at atomicwings.com. Atomicwings.com.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people get into all kinds of vehicles with loans as unique as them. Trucks, cars, SUVs, we finance them all with local service and rates starting as low as 4.99% APR. That's right, 4.99%. Keep your loan local and find the one that fits you at bhfcu.com. Apply today online or text 605-718-1818 to get started. Offer subject to credit approval. BHFCU is member owned and insured by NCUA.
Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer from Denny Menholt Toyota. Use your phone. It's fast and easy. Pull up our website, click on Value Trade-In, scan your VIN, and tell us about your car. You are on your way to a no-hassle, no-commitment cash offer on your vehicle in under 5 minutes. Bring your vehicle and your Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer to Denny Menholt Toyota and get cash or trade-in credit today. See you soon at Denny Menholt Toyota, Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows dip down to about 40. Tonight, under clear skies, southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Daytime highs approaching 72. Tomorrow, mainly clear skies. Lows level off around 35. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures a bit above average Wednesday and Thursday, with highs from the upper 50s to the mid 60s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 53 degrees.
Life changes fast. Starting a business, getting married, buying a house, growing your family. Have you taken steps to protect your family's financial future? Don't let life insurance be the thing that slides. It can help your family during difficult times. Lee Cruz with New York Life Insurance Company can help you get started. He's local and will help you find the right policy to fit your needs and budget. You can Google Lee Cruz New York Life or call 605-360-8804. That's Lee Cruz New York Life. Protect your family.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger? Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. A lot to cover tonight. Jason Anderis coming in. High school football discussion. Playoffs rolling. Jason Anderis on the way. SDPB Sports. We'll get back to the Jackson Yotes and the FCS with Sam Herder on tap tonight live. FCS senior analyst Sam Herder's coming up. It's Reaction Monday next hour. Rob Kegron's coming in live studio on air with Rob Kegron. Reaction Monday straight ahead. Thor Nystrom's on first. He's been covering the Vikings and more. NFL draft analyst, college football. He's at Fantasy Life. He's out of the Twin Cities. Thor Nystrom in, NFL analyst. Thor, how are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. How are you?
Good, man. Here we go. Let's start with the Vikes right there in the Twin Cities. I was on this show last week, and I didn't pick the Vikes to win, but I didn't kill them. I said, let's just hang tight here. Let's see how this team does with J.J. McCarthy and some guys back on the offensive line, Van Ginkel on the defensive side. I said, let's just see how they do. How surprised were you yesterday at Detroit?
A little bit, but not. I wasn't stunned. The Vikings, they hadn't been at full health all season long. Yesterday, you saw them the healthiest that they've been, and of course, McCarthy coming back, big part of that storyline. But you also had Darisaw in there for a full healthy game. Brian O'Neill was back. Andrew Van Ginkel did a whole bunch of stuff on defense. He was back. This roster, most of us agreed that this was one of the better rosters in the NFL heading into the season if they stayed healthy. The starting lineup, starting 22. And finally they got back to that. And it was a pretty good spot, especially in hindsight, you look back, to ambush the Lions there. They did not have much game film on J.J. McCarthy, who had just played 6+ healthy quarters in the NFL to that point. Recall that he got the high ankle sprain in the third quarter of the Falcons game, and they had very little tape on full-strength Vikings on both sides of the ball as well because of the injury concerns of the other positions you've had throughout the season. So the Vikings, the ability to respond to the first touchdown Detroit scored, people forget this now in hindsight after the Vikings, more or less were leading for most of that game. But the very first drive, Lions get the ball, and they drove right down, scored a quick touchdown. And I think around the state of Minnesota at that point, there was a lot of, oh, my gosh, we're about to get rolled here. let's make some afternoon plans. But instead, the Vikings, they score a touchdown on their next drive. McCarthy converted a 3rd and long. They drive down the field. There was a drop touchdown pass for Madison. McCarthy bounces right back, throws another touchdown. This one caught. Then you tie it up, stop the Lions' next drive, score another touchdown. Now you're up 14-7. That was with about 4 minutes left in the first quarter. After that, Brian Flores could go deep into his bag. Very, very creative defensive coordinator who loves to send pressure and loves to give exotic looks. And you were seeing him attack the interior of Detroit's offensive line. And once they breached the gates of that, you realize Jahmyr Gibbs can't pass block. What was incredible yesterday is the Vikings basically forced the Lions to put Jahmyr Gibbs on the bench of a game script they were trailing, because they could not trust Jahmyr Gibbs to hold up behind the interior offensive line with all the pressure that was being generated. Jahmyr Gibbs, I believe he was credited with giving up 7 pressures, which is the most in the NFL by a running back in years and years and years. And Jared Goff faced the most quick pressures by rate in an NFL game this season yesterday. So just incredible job on both sides. You see when the machine gets working the right way, everything moving in the same direction, what it can look like. And the Vikings obviously saved their season with that win.
What is the Vikings fan base saying today? Because Thor Nystrom, you've been out on that limb, the J.J. McCarthy limb, and it's almost busted off a couple of times. You've been out there. Where's the Viking fan base with McCarthy? Because now they go, well, oh, wow, this guy, okay. So where are we at?
Well, let's just say we had to fortify that limb a little bit because, like you said, I was out there by myself for a while. Now it seems like the whole entire fan base is on that limb with me. So hopefully the thing doesn't snap off. But yeah, there have been. I mean, and the Viking fan base, and I'm a part of it. I'm from Brainerd up north. Like, been a Viking fan all my life. Like, I know this fan base, and they can be a little bit fickle and knee-jerk and reactionary sometimes. I think because of what's happened with the franchise the last 50 years, 60 years. Everyone's always just expecting the other shoe to drop or for things to get worse as opposed to better. And obviously coming off the Chargers game and, where they get annihilated and the injury concerns at this point, you had the fan base in a certain mindset, before that. But yeah, them being able to see the team fully healthy, I think they finally start to get the vision that was there. And the thing you just cross your fingers for is that the Vikings remain healthy, because if they can, this actually could get interesting. Both with you defeat the Lions yourselves, so you move up a game on them, but then also the Packers stub their toe at home against the Panthers, and all of a sudden, this division is real bunched up. And so if you can go on a run here, any team in that division, any team can go on a run, that thing is there for the taking. So the season gets interesting now.
How did J.J. McCarthy play to you, Thor? You've been a supporter of his. You've believed in him. How did he play yesterday? People point to, 8 first downs, made some big plays, but I don't know still. How did J.J. play?
I thought he played well, and in particular, the context of coming off the 6-week layoff with the high ankle. And, of course, he hadn't played much in the preseason. He hadn't played last season because of the meniscus injury, and you just had those, 6 healthy quarters, but 8 total quarters prior to that. In lieu of all that context, the fact that you responded the way you did, scoring the first touchdown, then you scored the second touchdown to seize control of the game, I thought was very impressive. Was he perfect? No. He started taking some hits there. It's funny that I mentioned the quick pressure rate that Goff had. McCarthy was pressured, the quick pressure rate, it might have been number 2 in the NFL this season behind the Goff one. The Lions were generating almost as much heat as the Vikings were, and McCarthy was really good against the blitz. One thing you saw, though, which was interesting, and I actually think, you can look at this in a positive way, which is inside of the pocket, McCarthy's numbers on a per-pass basis yesterday were incredible. He was 1 for 7, though, something like that on the move. The one completion being the touchdown to Hawkinson. Recall McCarthy was scrambling to the right, and he sort of threw against the grain to an open Hawkinson in the back of the end zone there. But the accuracy issues that you saw was almost always when McCarthy was moving. And the interesting part of that to me was McCarthy was the most accurate quarterback on the move in college football in 2023. This is an enormous strength of his game. It wasn't yesterday, but throwing on the move is something that we know McCarthy is really, really good at. bad. I'm curious, the explanation for that. He was knocked around a little bit and mentioned that the pressures. And then the other thing, when they had talked about the ankle, there's been a whole lot of, misinformation and talk about McCarthy's ankle on both sides of it. But he was at 95% or so before the Chargers week or whatever. But he had said that then he worked out on the Monday before that Chargers game to see if he'd be able to start in it. There was sort of an indication that the pain has greatly subsided, but McCarthy made the comment that his foot felt like it was in concrete, and I don't have any personal experience with high ankle sprains, but I've heard that from people that have recovered from them, that through your progress with it, all of a sudden the pain will go away, but you can still have some stiffness there. It can still feel, not exactly right, even if it's not like 100%. And I'm sort of curious if some of the inaccuracy on the 6 incompletions when he was on the move, if any of that is attributable to that. But I do think that is a huge strength of his game. So I wouldn't expect to see, any foibles with that going forward. So, overall, I think it was a positive day, but there's also, of course, things to clean up.
Okay, are the Vikings good enough to beat the Ravens? Ravens have Lamar back. They're going to try and go on a run here. This is a big game this week.
It's a huge game for both teams. The loser of that game, you are all of a sudden are not feeling so good about the season. It would drop the Vikings to 4-5 in a super competitive division, and the Ravens trying to dig themselves out of a much deeper hole that they put themselves in after the Lamar Jackson injury. It's not that you have to win out, but it's pretty dang close. So a crucial game for both sides and a fascinating one. There's a thought and an idea that one of the antidotes to Brian Flores' defense is a mobile quarterback on the other side. It's really hard to blitz Lamar Jackson, right? Like you send extra heat on him, and he makes one guy miss, or he makes a quick decision, can get the ball down the field, but he can also just make you miss and just run into the vacancy, and all of a sudden he's running in space. And it's one of the scariest sights in the NFL is Lamar Jackson in space. So Brian Flores has a very interesting week of schematics ahead of him in the film room, and what he decides there and how he decides to defend Lamar Jackson will probably go a long way towards deciding the winner of that game. And I think it's a good matchup for the Vikings offense. The Ravens defense had some issues. Clearly, with the Ravens offense getting better, you're able to give that defense more rest and more help by controlling the ball more. But I do believe that the Vikings are going to be able to move the ball on the Ravens, and it'll be interesting if that one ends up turning into a shootout. McCarthy, both the games he has won have been on the road against the division rivals, the Bears and the Lions. This is his shot to bag a big game opponent at home, an opponent that's desperate and needs this win just as much as you do. So it's going to be a fascinating watch on Sunday.
Big time. Vikings are back in this thing, but essentially one game, it feels like, away from starting to struggle again. Ravens, Vikings coming in, U.S. Bank Stadium. Thor Nystrom in, NFL college football analyst, Fantasy Life. He's in the Twin Cities. Find him at ThorKU on X. I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much, Nate. Appreciate you.
Thanks for hopping on. Thor Nystrom tonight. ThorKU. He's on Twitter. Follow him if you're not. ThorKU. Good follow. NFL college football analyst for Fantasy Life and Score North out of the Twin Cities. So Vikings have beaten the Bears on the road, have beaten the Lions on the road. Yet we act like the Packers are still like the number one team ever. Why is that? I mean, everybody today is, the Packers lost to the Panthers, but it was kind of lucky. I don't know. The Packers lost to the Browns, but the Packers tied the Cowboys, but it's like, huh? Why are we giving the Packers this walkthrough? Why are we giving them this pass? If this was the Vikings, all these people would be killing the Vikings and McCarthy. Losing to the Browns, losing to the Panthers, we wouldn't even be able to live with ourselves. Everybody'd be killing McCarthy and the Vikings. I mean, the Vikings have had all of these injuries and all of this stuff going on, and they're 4-4, very much in this thing, and not getting enough credit at all. Not getting enough credit. We're on all the Packers. You're still on top of the NFC North. Oh, okay, sure. Good luck. Nice losses you've had in a tie. Coming right back, we'll go high school football. Playoffs getting good here in the state. And I'm going to ask Jason Dandera our question of the day. Should you think about moving private schools up a class when they've had so much success? That's interesting. That was thrown out by a superintendent here in the state. Jason Andera coming up, SDPB Sports.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
October is Renewal by Anderson's United Against Cancer campaign, and when Renewal offered to pay for employees' radon testing and mitigation, several Renewal team members found radon in their homes. Deb was one of them, and she always wondered how she got breast cancer. Radon causes cancer. It's linked to Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. Radon is a killer.
People don't know about radon. They don't know what a killer it is, and they don't know how cheap it is to have it tested.
Anderson, please get a radon test now. It could save your life.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show Live. We're back on a Reaction Monday on the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Radio. The Nate Brown Show built by Blackburn Foundation Repair. They want you to know the home is important. We know that. And if you have a crawl space, you want to keep your air clean, have you had radon testing? They do it all. Moisture and mold prevention, crawl spaces, local experts in South Dakota since 1992. It's Blackburn Foundation Repair. Protecting homes, protecting families. Think of them first. They've got your back on this stuff. They're the pros. Start at blackburnrepair.com. Don't mess around. Blackburnrepair.com. Take your home off the injured list. Get it up to speed. All right. Jason Ander is on tonight. Every Monday during the high school football season, he's been here, and now we're getting good. Playoffs in full effect. Some quarterfinal games, some semifinals here. Look out. This is interesting, man. We got to look at some of these matchups. Jason, welcome in. SDPB Sports. His show is called Game Time. How are you?
Doing well, yeah. I think the quarterfinal round was much more entertaining than the first round of playoffs. And, yeah, now that we get to semifinal round, I think there's a couple of really intriguing matchups. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds here Friday.
Okay, I was looking at a couple of these quarterfinal matchups. Were you surprised that the Sturgis Scoopers have won and they're into the semis?
I am, because, as you know, they lost their best running back, Sully Jost, and from that point on, they've still been able to galvanize and win some really big games. That's a big deal for the Sturgis Scoopers and for Jackson Gano, who's really done an excellent job at quarterback this year. And then defensively, just the way that they've really rallied and gotten big takeaways this year, they've been really impressive. Their hands are going to be full, though, just because they travel across the state, taking on a Yankton team who's vulnerable, and it's a team they've beaten, but just that trip across the state, it's going to be tough. It was tough for Spearfish last week to deal with. Spearfish had Yankton, by the way. They had opportunity after opportunity, and they played an overall better game than Yankton. So Sturgis can do it. I don't know if they will, but they definitely can.
Sturgis is at Yankton 11AA. Pierre is going to Huron. Some big semifinal matchups coming up Friday. By the way, Spearfish, you said had Yankton.
They did. I was at the game.
Okay,
they
so
had them.
There was a play where a running, it was a running touchdown, or it was close. It was close, and he went across the pylon. It looked like they didn't call it a touchdown. There was a penalty. They ended up not scoring on that drive. Could you Could you review these types of plays, Jason? Could you review these with a lot of the online streams we have? Should we look at that outside of state championships?
No, that would be a nightmare. That would be a nightmare. You need the DB Sport instant replay system to make it work smoothly, and using streams or somebody's phone or any other means, it'd be a disaster.
Okay, I'm not going to use the phone, but we had like 3 streams of that game. That looked like a touchdown. I'm not going to blame the officials, but it looked like a touchdown. That was a game winner.
It's going to be different on every screen, and even that shot that I saw multiple shots, it certainly looked like he got in. And with my live eye, it looked like he got in. But you're not down on the goal line, getting these NFL college football type shots, or even the type of shots that we get during the state playoff games. You're not getting those shots. It might have worked in this one instance. It really might have. But it would be an absolute, you're asking for a lot of logistics that would be really hard to put into place. So, don't get your hopes up that this is going to happen. It's just not. But you're right. He looked like he was in, and then you're right. Back-to-back penalties took him out of range, and they were in the red zone earlier in the game and couldn't convert. It was really close for Spearfish. They had a really good year.
Yankton hangs on and beats Spearfish. Jason Ander is on tonight. How good is this Lincoln-Jefferson game? Is this really close Friday night?
Well, they traded the lead the first time they played, I believe, 5 times. They were tied going into the fourth quarter before Lincoln waxed them off at the end of the game. But this Lincoln team, no problem scoring the football. In fact, I think they're 70 points away from beating their own record for most points in the season, which they're on pace to do if they can get there. But defensively, it has been a struggle. I haven't talked to Coach Fredenberg about this, but I would not be shocked if you see 2 or 3 offensive players go take the defensive side here for this round and possibly next round, just taking your best athletes and putting them on the field, because there's been so many holes defensively this year with Lincoln. It's going to be a tremendous football game. Jefferson's playing at their best. Lincoln's offense is really good. Louis Acosta and one of their best receivers didn't play last week. Don't know if he's going to play, but that'll make a huge difference in the game. It's just a lot of angles on this. It could go either way.
Okay. Lincoln Jefferson, one to watch. Brandon Valley's taking on Harrisburg in the other AAA semifinal. I do want to get your read on 11B. Is St. Thomas More and Elk Point Jefferson on a collision course here?
I truly believe they are. I think the St. Thomas More team, and I've said it the last couple of weeks, I think their only negative is they just haven't played as tough of a schedule. But last week, with the way they really responded when they got knocked down at the beginning of the game versus MVP, and I think they scored 21 or 28 consecutive points at the end of that game, I think they're ready to play big-time football right now. And Elk Point Jefferson, they had trouble against a really good Sioux Valley team early on, but then, they figured it out. They went to a sophomore running back who doesn't usually carry the ball because one of their seniors was playing defense only, and he came out and had a 200-yard game with 3 touchdowns. So that tells me that the offensive line is doing their job at Elk Point Jefferson. I think those are definitely the two teams that are bound to see each other a week from Saturday, I think, for 11B.
Yeah, 11B semis at St. Thomas More hosting Clark Willow Lake. Elk Point Jefferson hosting Dual. Jason Andera on tonight. Find him at 605 Jandy on X and SDPB Sports, high school football analyst. His show is called Game Time. Last one, Sioux Falls Christians, the number 1 team in 11A. They've been untouchable. People have been throwing out how good Sioux Falls Christian is in everything. And a superintendent, as a matter of fact, this past week said teams like Sioux Falls Christian, some of these private schools from these metros, maybe they should be move up a class. Should there be a system to move them up?
I mean, there is no doubt that they have more of the percentage of their student body that participates in extracurricular activities, and that gives them a huge advantage because a lot of those, almost all their kids are participating in extracurricular activities, so they just have a lot more athletes to pick from. So if we're going to do some type of factoring, I think that's one of the factors that maybe we have to look into is, what percentage of kids do you have available to you that can play sports? And right now, private schools, and it has been for years, they have an advantage in that department. But again, you're really nitpicking different issues when you really delve that deep into participation. And I don't know if there's a good answer to that. We've talked about that for years, Nate. It definitely has been the case, though, lately. These private schools have been dominating, and they are definitely dominating this year.
It's interesting. That was thrown out, so I asked my audience, do the private schools have an unfair advantage tonight? That's our question of the day. 71% on my show voting yes. They can recruit to win with their enrollment. They have high participation. So it's
they have an advantage. I don't know if it's unfair, but they definitely do have an advantage. You're right.
Jason Andera on tonight. Find him at SDPB Sports Playoffs Semifinals Friday night. He'll be on it. Jason, I appreciate you. Thanks a lot.
All right, we'll talk next week.
Appreciate it. Jason Andera tonight, semifinal week on high school football. His show is called Game Time on SDPB Sports, and he's here on the Nate Brown Show. All right, that's our question of the day. Are there legitimate complaints about South Dakota private schools having an advantage in high school sports? Let's see here. Listener text coming in. It's a listener text. Metro private schools should move up one class. They say Sioux Falls Christian, St. Thomas More, Rapid City Christian, for example, are drawing an enrollment area of AA schools. Suburban private schools, Roncalli, Great Plains Lutheran, etc., they are the tricky ones. Then the private rural schools you could leave alone. I don't know if you could start playing that game of just the metro schools then. I don't know if you could start playing that game myself. It's like, oh, well, Sioux Falls Christian, sorry, you're moving up. What? Hey, St. Thomas More, you're moving up. Sorry. St. Thomas More has had a long run. Then they've had some down years, by the way. This is their first time in 11B semifinals in quite some time, really. So, all right, Sam Herder's on tonight, FCS senior analyst. What's his take on the Jacks and where they're really at? Jacks Yotes this weekend. Sam Herder coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Does your home have a crawl space? When cold weather arrives, that can mean cold floors, frozen pipes, and higher energy bills. Protect your family and keep the cold air out this winter with Expert Crawl Space Sealing by Blackburn Basement Systems. Sealing keeps your crawl space clean, protects pipes, and insulates your home so floors are warmer and energy bills are lower. A sealed crawl space means a nicer home. Don't wait. Call Blackburn Basement Systems today.
Text scams continue to rise, and victims who have lost money to these scams continues to increase. Consumers cannot rely on a text message to be truthful. If you receive a message regarding a fine for missing jury duty, your utilities being shut off for non-payment, toll road fines, or you've won a sweepstakes, these are scams designed with an urgency and the need to send money now. Do not respond to these texts, and you should contact Consumer Protection at 800-300-1986. That's 800-300-1986 for the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division.
If you want the peace of mind that your next pre-owned vehicle is the best it can be, you want Honda True. And you only find it at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda. Our Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected and backed by 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange. You simply can't buy the wrong vehicle. Search our inventory at honda-true.com or see us at Denny Manholt Rushmore Honda.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows dip down to about 40 tonight under clear skies, southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Daytime highs approaching 72. Tomorrow, mainly clear skies. Lows level off around 35. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures a bit above average Wednesday and Thursday with highs from the upper 50s to the mid 60s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 53 degrees.
Hey, volleyball families, get ready to serve up some fun at the Wautiki Spike-tacular Volleyball Tournament, February 13th through 15th at the Box Elder Event Center. Experience high-energy matches, glow-in-the-dark games Friday night, and exciting play all weekend long. Compete in 14U, 16U, or 18U divisions for a shot at the trophy. Stay and play with 25% off rooms at now at thebox.live.
Kickoff just got bigger. Murphy's Pub and Grill is back with NFL Sunday Ticket. That means every game, every team, every Sunday. Right here at your favorite bar. Cheer loud, eat big, and score with Murphy's game day specials on food and drinks. The atmosphere, electric. The staff, legendary. The screens, everywhere. This season, don't just watch football. Experience it. NFL Sunday Ticket is back, baby. Murphy's Pub and Grill, your new football headquarters. Visit murphyspubandgrill.com.
Imagine this, a bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank & Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank & Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank & Trust. Member FDIC.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. Glad you're here tonight. Hope you're having a good day. Monday across the state. It's always a great day in South Dakota, even on a Monday on the Nate Brown Show. Glad to have you on board. Thanks for making this show possible. You can always text us on the text line, 605-720-1067. Be a part of the show there on the Barron's Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. First question of the day tonight. What's most likely to happen Saturday? Jacks get back on track. The Yotes get another big win. What's most likely to happen? Let's ask Sam Herder, FCS senior analyst, HeroSports.com, one of the best FCS guys in the country. Sam's back on tonight. courtesy of the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. Sam, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your time as always. FCS weekend was wild, man, and we start right here in Brookings. South Dakota State goes down to Indiana State. A stunner for everybody, and you've covered this program a long time. Here's how I see it. The team is different than before. Defensively, I don't think they're quite as good as they have been. Offensive line, not quite as good. And then you take out two of the best offensive players, your two best, I guess. You probably have some problems, but should they have had a problem with Indiana State without that?
No, it's still an inexcusable loss, and I'm sure they'll say the same thing no matter the injuries you have. There are a lot of other FCS programs that have a lot of injuries, including at the quarterback spot, and they keep on winning games, and they're not losing to teams that are at the level of Indiana State. So, I mean, you can point to a lot of different injuries for South Dakota State, and you could maybe forgive them for losing to NDSU the way they did because of those injuries, but you can't lose to a team like Indiana State. That's a rough-looking loss no matter who's all on that injury report.
Okay, so what is your assessment of South Dakota State, Sam? Because I'm still looking at them going, they win at Montana State. They beat Sac State. So I'm saying the start of the year was different than now, so what's this team really like?
Yeah, I think maybe the big concern for South Dakota State coming into this year was you look at their projected two deep and starting lineup, and you really like overall the nucleus that they had coming back and some of the impact transfers they had coming in. But when you have so much roster turnover, and you're probably playing a lot more young guys than you usually do, especially for South Dakota State. That's a developmental program where the starting whatever linebacker gets hurt, and a fourth-year junior, comes in who knows the system very well. South Dakota State doesn't necessarily have that luxury this year. So I think we're seeing, South Dakota State kind of peaking at the start of the year when they were fully healthy. But now as injuries start to rack up, and even if they're not even sideline, an injury that puts a guy on the sideline, even if a guy is playing at 75%, but he's still out there, that still eventually takes its toll on a team, and you have to be able to rotate a bit more and not lose that quality when you do rotate more because guys are a bit banged up. And so, I think depth is kind of starting to catch up with South Dakota State, and, who knows, there may be some things on film that teams have caught up on because the run game looked good to start the year, then it was kind of choppy at moments, in the middle part of the year, and it really hasn't gotten going these last couple of games. And there's probably a variety of reasons for that, whether it's the offensive line, whether it's some running backs not seeing some cutback lanes. It's probably a whole lot of different things on why the run game hasn't gotten going. And you couple that with the quarterback who isn't doing very well in reading defenses, and teams are going to sell it to stop the run, and so you kind of question where exactly can the South Dakota State team go offensively if Chase Mason isn't under center.
Okay, so this is how I break it down, and it's a simple one, Sam. You can tell me if I'm way off. If Chase Mason plays, South Dakota State's totally different to me, and I think they can win at the Dakota Dome. But if Chase Mason doesn't, I give USD a pretty big advantage. Aiden Bauman and this USD team that maybe has turned a little corner. A big win over UND. I mean, massive. That's how I break it down. Is the Chase Mason factor that big?
Yeah, I think it is, just because the offense is so much. It still wasn't the most smooth when he was in there. There were still some choppy moments, but we've seen him. I can't remember what game it was, whether it was like Mercyhurst or Drake. I can't remember specifically which one, but a team in the non-conference sold out to stop the run. And Chase Mason threw the ball like 30-plus times in that game whenever that was, and they looked good doing it. And when you can do that as an offense, when someone is selling out to stop the run, but you have a quarterback that can deliver the necessary passes, and you can go 3-4 deep at wide receiver, all of a sudden that kind of softens defense up. And so I do think his presence back there is huge just to get that offense going once again. And, we'll see exactly what his status is. And, I do think if he misses this game, you definitely lean South Dakota in this one. If he does play, maybe you go back to South Dakota State and lean the Jackrabbits. But if he plays and he's at 60%, maybe that turns into more of a 50-50 type ball game, and you just kind of defer to USD, who's the home team. So we, we were on Chase Mason watch 2 weeks ago. Last week at this time, it kind of felt like, he's probably not going to go. But right now, we're on Chase Mason watch again to see if he's going to give it a go against the Yotes.
Yeah, big time, and it's a big factor at the Dome this weekend. Sam Herder is on tonight covering the FCS, HeroSports.com, senior FCS analyst. What do you make of USD's win over UND? That's a big one there because I've been high on UND. They've been kind of lurking. Everybody's wondering how good they are. What do you think of USD getting that W?
Yeah, that's a huge win, and probably a needed win, too, for USD. You really don't want to hit 5 losses this year. Now, 7-5 could potentially get you in, but in a 12-game season, 8 D1 wins is kind of that magic number. And so if you're USD, with only 2 games remaining, too, because of that late bye week they have at the end of the regular season, you win 2 more games and you feel really, really good. If you split these next 2, you're kind of iffy whether you're in or out on the playoff bubble. So that was a much-needed win, and you kind of felt like maybe South Dakota treated that game like a playoff team, or like a playoff game, probably because it was. We kind of saw the same thing with Abilene Christian versus Tarleton State. That was also Abilene probably treated that like a playoff game because it was a must-win for them. So it was major for the Yotes. You definitely felt like at times that UND was outplaying USD at different points in that game, but the Yotes were able to kind of build themselves a nice lead and hang on from there and, make big plays in big moments, whether it was special teams, whether it was being really heady defensively and, knocking out the ball when they see opportunities to do so. In games like that, it's kind of those small 3, 4, 5 plays that make a difference in that one, and USD made some big time moments in key moments in that game.
Can USD bounce back with another big one? They beat UND. Now it's the Jacks coming to the Dakota Dome Saturday afternoon. Sam, I'd look at it. North Dakota State had a tough time with Youngstown. I mean, they did. Youngstown State's hanging in there a long time in that game. North Dakota State's still number 1 to me, and I think it's going to be a party in Fargo. I just think they're good. Who's the second best team in the country now?
Yeah, I think it's either Montana or Montana State. Maybe you lean the Grizz a little bit just because they get the Cats at home this year, and that the home team has been a decided favorite these last handful of years. Really, ever since I think every game since 2019 has been a blowout. With the home team winning via blowout, and so maybe you go Montana, maybe you go Montana State as well. You could maybe argue that Montana State is the more complete team as far as, defensively really strong, good on the offensive and defensive lines. They can run it and they can throw it. Meanwhile, compared to Montana, offensive line is pretty good but not great. Defense has been good at times. Some other times maybe not as good. But as far as, the quarterback and running back and wide receiver room, Montana might be as good as it gets in that area compared to the rest of the FCS. And so maybe Montana State is the more complete team, but maybe the Grizz, just with their quarterback play and with Ayat and Gilman at running back and, the variety of wide receivers they have, those guys are all dudes, and that might be enough to kind of overcome some of their weaknesses where that comes on the offensive and defensive line for Montana.
Huge week this week for the Jacks and Yotes at the Dakota Dome. Sam Herder getting us going on a Monday. Follow him at Sam Herder FCS. He's at HeroSports.com. Appreciate you, Sam. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Always appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Sam Herder on tonight talking FCS senior analyst for HeroSports.com here on the Nate Brown Show. It is a Reaction Monday. Rob Kegron's getting ready to come in. Let's have some fun. 1 hour left in the program. What's Rob going to say about his big mistake 1 week ago? Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Hey, it's Nate Brown for Atomic Wings, 2 locations in Sioux Falls. You don't need to keep going to the mediocre wing places with too much breading and wings that don't have any meat. Atomic Wings is different. I know firsthand. Their boneless wings are made with fresh chicken right there. The best wings I've had. 15 unique flavors to choose from sweet to heat. Huge traditional wings, fresh boneless wings for game day, lunch, or dinner. 2 locations in Sioux Falls. Just order at atomicwings.com. Atomicwings.com.
Village Heart dinner rolls are a must for the upcoming holiday. Getting together with family and friends is great, but to be honest, I really look forward to the big holiday meal. And whether we roast a turkey or ham, we always have plenty of Village Heart dinner rolls. They're great with the meal, but they also make the best little turkey and ham sandwiches the next day. Baked locally and delivered fresh daily, Village Hearth dinner rolls are the natural choice for holiday meals.
Since 1928, Connect Home Center has been proud to serve Rapid City and Spearfish with quality products and customer service that you can trust. In 2000, Connect joined the Mead Lumber family, and now they're taking the next step into their journey. Connect Home Center is becoming Mead Lumber. Same people, same service, just a new name from design to finish. Mead Lumber is here for you, as they've always been. MeadLumber.com.
Out here, we have a deeper connection to the land, a stronger connection to our neighbors, standing on our own 2 feet while also working together. The power to do more connects us all. At member-owned West River Electric Association, it's all of us working together to make today and tomorrow better. This is Co-op Country.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
Winter is almost here. It's time to say goodbye to drafty doors, poor quality windows, sky-high heating bills, and outdated design. And hello to Acclaim replacement windows and stunning ensemble entry doors from Renewal by Andersen. Now's the time to invest in your home and your family's comfort. And what better time than our Black Friday event, where you keep your cash and spend ours. Get 20% off windows and doors plus a Visa gift card for up to $2,000 as our gift to you. You won't pay a dime till 2027 with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. Call now. This incredible offer is good through December 13th. Don't wait. Visit RBARapidCity.com today to book your free estimate. You don't want to miss out on windows and doors that are durable, energy efficient, and custom made for the perfect fit from Renewal by Andersen. Our Black Friday sale is here. Book today because every home should be warm and cozy.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. It is a Monday on the Nate Brown Show. Glad you're here. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, where it's always a great day in South Dakota. Book it, even though it gets dark at whatever ungodly time. The only guy in the history of the country who likes daylight savings getting dark this early is the producer of the Nate Brown Show, Matt Kearney. So send all your mail to Matt Kearney. You don't like early darkness, right?
I don't like early darkness, but I'm all for daylight savings time.
Well,
just so we're clear.
But you can't have it both ways. I mean, you can't have it. I don't want dark afternoons, but nonetheless, we could argue about this the whole hour if you want to, but we got a lot to cover tonight. That is Rob Kagron. He's in tonight. A Reaction Monday on the Nate Brown Show. Glad you're here. If you want to be a part of the show, 605-720-1067. That's the Barron's Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. Text the show, or we'll try and get you on if you want to join us on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch. 2 locations in Rapid City, also at East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and in Brandon. Great locations across the state, home of everyone's favorite buffet, your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. So here's what we got going tonight. 1 week ago, you were discussing and you just went off and you were laughing and smirking and just having a great time. And your quote was, "The Vikings are dead." I said, "You're killing them." And you said, "They're dead." Yes, they're dead. They're not going to beat the Lions and then the Ravens and all this, so they were dead. And the Vikings are back from the dead do you want to apologize to J.J. McCarthy, Kevin O'Connell, and the Viking fan base of South Dakota?
Absolutely not. I do not want to apologize. I am not, because I'm not sorry and I'm not a fraud, right? I'm at least genuine and honest, right? I'm not sorry at all. Now, did I get here's what I will say. I will eat my crow, right? I'm not sorry.
You said that.
I will eat my crow, though. I got this game completely wrong. Okay, I'm going to say two things. Number one, I was completely wrong about the game. I was completely wrong about how I thought Detroit would dominate the game. Minnesota's defense in particular played very well. There were a lot of 3-and-outs on the Detroit side, even in the second half. I give them a lot of credit for that. But let's not go crazy, folks. Let's not go crazy. I mean, how many yards did the guy throw for? 150 or something, 140, McCarthy? You had like 260 yards total of offense, right? This wasn't gangbusters. You played a good team.
Did he make
and
some
you won the
good
game,
plays?
so you should get credit for that.
Plays? Did he make some big-time throws?
He did. He absolutely did. He looked better than I thought he would. I thought he'd be rusty this many weeks off. He absolutely looked better than I thought he would. But this wasn't like, they were all world. I mean, Detroit really struggled to move the ball. Let's be fair.
This is the Detroit Lions. You guys crown them like they're unbelievable. You guys think the Detroit Lions are something else. The Vikings go in and win in Detroit, and we're going to, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Okay,
this is the win of all wins.
No, it isn't the win of all wins.
Absolutely
It's a good win and a win that they absolutely needed, because the one thing you and I did agree on a week ago was that if the Vikings had lost, they were basically done.
I would have came back today and said, we're in big trouble. But I knew it. 4-4, we're in this party.
Well, are you really, though? That's going to be my other point. What was this game to you?
In this party.
Was this game more about the flaws of the Detroit Lions or how good Minnesota is? Because in me, it's about the flaws of the Detroit Lions, not how good Minnesota is.
Actually, I'd flip that around, because if you follow the Vikings, the injuries have been absolutely devastating. Offensive linemen, 2 tackles, Van Ginkel on defense, Addison at the start of the year. They just haven't had their team. Now they got their team. They're just a one game out. You want to talk about this NFC North? It's packed. They've already got wins at the Bears, at the Lions. They're in good shape. They're in good shape in this division.
Come on, Nate.
No, they're in good shape right now.
Nate, in good shape?
Yes.
They're the 4th team in a division of 4 teams.
You know who's first? The Packers. You know who they've lost to? The Panthers, the Browns, the Cowboys tie. What a first-place team we got to look forward to.
And I think your point is fair that these are all flawed teams that are above them. I don't disagree with that point whatsoever. But you still got to leapfrog some teams, right?
Well, we're one game back. I mean, the Bears are sitting here 5-3. Give me a break.
We discussed their schedule. The next 4 games are not easy. Home Baltimore, home Chicago, at Green Bay, at Seattle. What do you want?
No problem with Chicago. I like Green Bay. That's fine too.
At Green Bay?
Ravens sketchy to me. Seattle sketchy to me.
I mean, basically, you just marked them up for 4 wins. Then essentially, they're going to be 8-4. When we come back here in a month, year after Thanksgiving, they'll be 8-4 based on the way you just described that.
They'll be in this thing.
These are 4 very tough games. Okay, if you're a Viking fan right now, would you sign up for 2-2 over the next 2 and be 6-6? Would you sign up for that right now?
Yes,
if I said to you, no matter what happens, who cares who you beat and who you lose to, but you'll be 2-2 after these 4 games
I'd take
and 6-6? Okay.
6-6, because then on the backside, we got some winnable games. So if you're coming out of here and you can get to 10 wins, that's the only number they got to get to. They only have to get to 10 wins.
I think 10 wins would be a remarkable accomplishment right now for the Minnesota Vikings. To me, I get it, and people who listen to your show regularly and who've heard me on your show regularly think that I'm just trying to knock on the Vikings. I do use my eyes. I watch the games, guys, right? Like, you played well. You won the game, deservedly so.
At Detroit.
You played much better than they did. But I got to see more. I have to see more from J.J. McCarthy, because you're not going to be able to do that kind of stuff. Baltimore's going to score some points against you. Let's be fair. They're going to score some points against you.
You've been on this show for I can't remember how long. It's been such a joy. You've been on here a long time. And I remember last year you said about Sam Darnold, we got 10 wins. We got 11. We got 12. I got to see more. You kept saying it. I got to see more. We got 14
I was
wins.
proven right, Nate, last year.
Oh, how about this? He had a couple of rough games, and now he's the best QB in the NFL, maybe.
Okay,
he might be the best.
Number one, yes, he had a couple rough games. But a couple of rough games in the middle of the season you can tolerate. When it's the last game of the regular season against your rival, and then the only game that you play in the playoffs, and you stink in both games.
And we threw that away.
And you
threw it
stink
away
in both games.
By the way, how's he doing in Seattle? He looked okay last night?
Yeah, he did. But again, this is a guy I need to see it when it counts the most. Yeah, he's a good what we've learned in the right system with the right coaches, he's a very good regular season quarterback. Very good. First of all, he's not the best quarterback in the league.
I might have the numbers to be. I know he's top 5 last 2 years. Let's see here. Were you too quick in killing the Vikings? And so your answer is no. You're still killing them today because you think Ravens are going to lose. They're going to lose to the Packers. You even act like the Bears are scary. Ooh, I'm scared of Ben Johnson and the Bears. That's scared of that one.
At Seattle? At Seattle's not something to be scared about? You just praised them left, right, and center for the last
Seattle,
3 minutes.
Ravens. But if I can go 2-2
Wait a minute.
here.
At Green Bay is not a tough game to win? At Green Bay on the road?
Wasn't tough for the Panthers. They did okay.
That is very confounding, I'll say that.
Green Bay, are they the most overhyped team you've ever seen? I mean, you think they're still good. Why do we think these guys are good? What have they done?
I think they're erratic more than anything. I think when they're good, they're very good. And when they're bad, they are horrendous.
Well,
that's a
bad team.
I'd say it's an average team. They're probably a little overrated for what they really are. So they're not as good as their record is. I'll give you that. But you are what your record is, right? You are what your record is. The Vikings are a 4-4 team. I think they're an average team. Did I kill them too quickly? Did I jump the gun on saying they were going to get killed by the Lions? Yes, I did. But do I still think that they're in big trouble? I absolutely still think they're in big trouble.
No, not at all.
Absolutely.
Look at the NFC North. It's winnable, and it's you're one game out, essentially. You're all jumbled in there. Vikings saved their season yesterday. And now we're supposed to be scared of the Ravens again, huh? Have you seen their defense? We might carve them up like you wouldn't believe. So I'm not that scared of the Ravens. You act like this is another juggernaut coming in here.
He threw for 150 yards. You're not winning against Baltimore with Lamar with 150 yards.
He's going to throw for more than that because the Ravens' defense is Swiss cheese. A lot of holes in the defense. Coming right back, I want to get to a little bit of World Series. Okay, I want to go to this World Series discussion because it's a big story, and we got to talk Huskers tonight. There's a big question to ask about the Huskers. A lot coming up on a Reaction Monday.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
October is Renewal by Anderson's United Against Cancer campaign, and when Renewal offered to pay for employees' radon testing and mitigation, several Renewal team members found radon in their homes. Deb was one of them, and she always wondered how she got breast cancer. Radon causes cancer. It's linked to Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. Radon is a killer.
People don't know about radon. They don't know what a killer it is, and they don't know how cheap it is to have it tested.
From all of us at Renewal by Anderson, please get a radon test now. It could save your life.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
It is the Nate Brown Show, live at Reaction Monday tonight on Fox Sports Radio with our guest host, Rob Kegron. He's live in studio. You still listen to Apologize to You Vikings fans. I'm doing my best. I mean, I'm trying to get him to realize the Vikings are a real NFL team. J.J. McCarthy has made some great plays. Give the guy some credit. Vikings-Ravens this week. Now, huge game. Might determine a lot, whoever gets the win. Vikings are underdogs at home against the Ravens?
Hard to believe, especially 4.5. I could see 2, something like that. You know, a real tight field goal spread.
No respect.
But, I mean, if you think of it like this, Nate, right? We've talked about this in terms of, like, gambling and sports betting. I mean, the home field is usually worth 3 points. So are we saying that if this game were in Baltimore, Baltimore would be a 7.5-point favorite? Now, I don't want to say hater, but I like to poo-poo on the Vikings quite a bit around these parts. But even I, if it were 7.5, would take the Vikings plus 7.5. And in this case, 4.5, you might actually convince me to play the Vikings on the money line, which is going to be like 170, 175.
Value, but I'm going to keep an eye on this. I was the only one that believed in the Vikings going into the Lions game. You and me and, like, real Vikings guys. You know, I'm objective. I'm not emotional. I was looking at the Vikings. They can compete. So they got their full team back. By the way, Lister Text coming in on the Packers. Nate always hating on my Packers, sounding more and more like you're a Vikings fan every day. I mean, I'm a Vikings supporter.
Yeah.
My brother is a huge Vikings fan. I want him to live a good life sometime. And so I'm just supporting the Vikings. Lister text, Packers are overhyped this year for some reason. I would agree with that.
I don't know if I'd say overhyped. I don't think they have met their potential yet. But, I mean, this is a team that went to Pittsburgh and played a heck of a second half, 8 days ago, last Sunday night. This is not a bad team. I think we'd have to at least say that. They're a good team.
Well, what are these losses?
They did win the first game against Detroit. I mean,
I know, but
the losses
Packers,
are kind of unexplainable.
Browns,
I'll give you that.
Panthers tie against the Cowboys. Those are some bad games.
I'll give you the losses are a bit unexplainable.
Okay, let's get to what was going down Saturday night. Saturday night, I'm watching college football, taking a look at the World Series score. I'm looking at the World Series because I'm watching the Huskers. I want to see if Matt Rule can get this done. And they were on their way, and that's another story. We'll get to the Huskers. Hang on. Toronto Blue Jays are up. They're in good shape, 4-2. Then the Dodgers get a homer in the 8th. They get another one in the 9th. We got problems, but the Blue Jays battle back, bases loaded. Lister text coming in asking us, Rob, tonight, the way that went down, the Dodgers come back, you all know the story, and they win in extras. Did the Blue Jays give it away? Did the Dodgers win it? Listener question.
To me, it's very clear that the Dodgers won it. This is not a choke job by any means. Certainly, giving up home runs in the 8th, 9th, and 11th isn't exactly the way you want to lose a ball game. I did question a couple of the decisions for sure that were made. I questioned certainly the pitch selection in the 9th inning there. But the Dodgers are such a good team. I mean, you were 2 outs away from beating them in the 9th inning in Game 7. I don't think it's not as if okay, let's say it like this. You and I are both old enough to remember this name. I probably remember kind of watching it. You probably don't. But we remember the name Bill Buckner, right?
Oh, yeah.
Bill Buckner,
Yeah.
Boston Red Sox, 1986. The ball goes through the wickets, right?
Oh.
That's given the game away and eventually given the World Series away. That's not what happened here, right? Good hitting beat good pitching at the end of a Game 7. And Game 7s are crapshoots.
But the bases loaded for the Blue Jays. The bases loaded, one out. You got to get that done. That's what I watched that. I go, the Blue Jays blew it, and I knew the Dodgers were going to find an opening. I knew it, and I'm sitting here going, the Dodgers are going to get this done and leave it up to the catcher. Gets a home run. I mean, I was like, are you kidding me?
Well, he's a good player, Will Smith.
Oh,
But
I
let's
mean,
not,
come on.
I mean, the guy hits cleanup for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Come on, a home run.
Wait, Will Smith, you're knocking him because he's a catcher?
You just
He hits cleanup for them.
0-2. It was 0-2. You hung a curveball.
And that's where, and so that pitch selection I had a problem with, and the slider that Hoffman threw to Rojas in the 9th inning with Ohtani on deck is a bad pitch as well. But those are bad decisions. They're not.
You don't think they choked it?
No, absolutely not. And the fact of the matter is that they were still in the game. I mean, basically IKF is, a half a second, a millisecond away from touching home plate before the ball is caught. Page's the center fielder for the Dodgers, who they brought in for defensive replacement.
Quite the catch.
What an amazing catch! So that's why I can't say that they choked it away as much as the Dodgers, because they are such an amazing team, found a way to win that game. And boy, I've watched a lot of baseball in my life. You know my passion for baseball. That may be the greatest baseball game I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah. That's pretty close.
I wasn't going to go there because I'm going, there's been a lot of baseball games, and that one with the stakes, and maybe that's what puts it up there, is extra innings and Game 7 and how it was played, so that's why?
Well, yeah. I mean, the fact that it's 4-2 and they hit a homer in the 8th and the homer in the 9th, chances in the 9th, chances in the 10th, chances in the 11th.
Yeah.
And the whole series, I mean, this is top 3-5 World Series of all time, no doubt about it. The big bad Dodgers against basically the whole country of Canada.
Game
7 games, games that are won on the road from both teams. Yamamoto coming back out there after he just pitched 24 hours beforehand. I mean, this was some this is drama that you can't write.
By the way, 25.5, 30 million people at a peak. That's a big number for baseball. I didn't look at how big. That's a big number for baseball.
Nate, think about this. And I know you and I are both NBA fans. You're probably a bigger NBA fan than I am. I'm certainly a bigger baseball fan than you are. Do you know Game 7 in June of OKC in Indiana? They went to a Game 7.
Yeah.
Game 7 with nothing else to watch, right? Think about this.
It's summer. It's summer, though.
But no competition on television. Saturday night, Nate Brown is sitting at home with his feet up, relaxing in his beautiful, spacious, palatial place, and he's watching a college football game.
Yeah, for the most part.
30 million people were watching the baseball game.
I got over there just in time. I mean, that's all that counts, right? You get over there just in time. I didn't need to see the first 5 innings, I hate to tell you.
Yes, you did, because Bichette hit a homer in the 3rd. the NBA Game 7, Nate, 17 million. 17.
Yeah, no, it's a big number for baseball, but I will say this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it, because now that the Dodgers have won, now that everybody's whining and complaining, that's the last World Series you're going to see for another year. I hope you enjoyed it.
What do you mean?
They're going to lock out. Just get ready.
Well, no, that will be for another year.
Well, 2026 after that.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
I hope you guys enjoy it, because it's going to go away. Do you believe that?
I think there will be a significant lockout, yes.
Sounds a little rough. And here we are, baseball at a peak.
Only baseball could shoot themselves in the foot by having people are talking about them all over the country, and the next conversation is, well, these dopes will have a lockout and nobody will ever watch baseball again.
I think that might be right. By the way, should we celebrate the Dodgers winning back-to-back for the first time since the Yankees? Should we celebrate the Dodgers' biggest payroll, top 3? Shohei Ohtani, it's a goofy contract. They put that off the books, and so we act like we should celebrate the Dodgers stacking the team like that?
Well, I still have a systemic problem with what's going on in baseball and the Dodgers payroll. The only thing I'll say to that is it took some heroic performances by people who were not Shohei Ohtani for them to actually win the World Series, right? You know, a lot of cogs, like Pages, I'm probably saying his name wrong, but the center fielder for the Dodgers, that is an incredible baseball catch, right? I mean, the fact that Rojas, who came in as a pinch, he hits a home run, right? Max Muncy, Will Smith, this is not Mookie Betts and Ohtani or Freddie Freeman, right?
But they had some big moments, too.
No doubt about it, but this was a collective effort with a tremendous amount of resolve from a team that had its back against the ropes and found a way to go into Toronto and win 2 games in a row. So I think you have to celebrate the accomplishment of that, even if I and you and I still agree that the system of it, the fact that they can have all those players, is a problem and a long-term problem for baseball. I think the accomplishment of this year and how they won was quite remarkable.
That's spoken from a San Francisco Giants fan.
Yeah, nobody was rooting harder for the Toronto Blue Jays other than the country of Canada than Rob Kegren. I guarantee you. I was screaming at the top of my lungs watching the game on a friend's patio on Saturday night.
That's what I thought, is you would not be pulling for the Dodgers. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Let's get to the Huskers. Yes, I was watching the Huskers Saturday night. And what should we really think about this program? They didn't win again, but they lost their star QB. Where are the Huskers really at now? Matt Rule's extension? What's their future coming up?
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
October is Renewal by Anderson's United Against Cancer campaign, and when Renewal offered to pay for employees' radon testing and mitigation, several Renewal team members found radon in their homes. Deb was one of them, and she always wondered how she got breast cancer. Radon causes cancer. It's linked to Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. Radon is a killer.
People don't know about radon. They don't know what a killer it is, and they don't know how cheap it is to have it tested.
From all of us at Renewal by Anderson, please get a radon test now. It could save your life.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Out E3 Sports Complex on East North Street, featuring 4 full courts for basketball and volleyball. E3 Sports Complex is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
All right, we're rolling on a Monday night. Hope you're enjoying your Monday. We're back at it, everybody. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight, Fox Sports Radio. Looking forward to a big week on the program. College basketball getting underway today at the Sanford Pentagon, the Field of 68. Opening day marathon. The Jacks going tonight against Merrimack. So good stuff. Thor Nystrom was on tonight talking NFL and Vikings. He's the only guy that's out there on the limb with the Vikings with me. We're not going to let anybody else out there. I mean, Rob Kegron comes out there in that limb and is going to break off, so we don't want that. You guys can stay back, stay safe. Thor Nystrom on tonight from Minneapolis. Jason Andera talking high school football playoffs. Sam Herder was in with a Yotes Jacks preview for Saturday. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. You miss any guests, miss any segments, the Nate Brown Show podcast is there. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, so I'm watching the Huskers Saturday night. I'm hoping they can get this done. It's USC. It's not like the big bad Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush USC. This isn't your dad's USC. This is just an okay USC team. They're ranked number 23, a little soft, can't win on the road, can't do much like that. This is the time for the Huskers to get this done and get this off their backs where they can't beat a top 25 team. And Matt Rule hasn't been able to win big games. And I had Matt Kearney, the producer of the Nate Brown Show. You know what he said last week? He said, show me when the Huskers have won a big game. He said, show me when they've won a big game. And I said, just get ready. I got a good feeling about Saturday night they're going to get this done. They're in good shape. They got it. They're moving the ball. The defense is playing well, keeping USC down. And then we've got the injury, the broken leg, it turns out, to Dylan Raiola. And that flips the script. Backup QB, true freshman. Huskers lose again. Huskers are arguing now. Husker Nation, Rob, is arguing. I'm seeing it in Lincoln, Omaha, across the state today. Are we going to get the program elevated to the college football playoff? Are we going to get to that spot, or are we just going to stay 7-5, 6-6? Is that where we're going to be? And that's my question today.
Yeah, Nate, I think it's hard to imagine right now. Now, let's take away the injury to Raiola, right? I mean, I'm not sure they were going to win that game anyway, but they were. It was tied. Well, it was tied, wasn't it? And when did he get hurt?
Yes, it was tied. Okay, they would have won that.
All right. Well, I don't know that. Neither do you. But fair enough. Let's go with that. The fact is, they haven't beaten anyone very good this year, right?
No,
they have some wins, but they have wins the like of Northwestern and Maryland and Akron and Michigan State. I think right now, if you're a big Husker fan, I think you're going to have to be resigned to the fact that you're on the top half of the Big Ten with regular winning seasons, but not much more than that.
So you're not at the bottom of the Big Ten anymore. They've been at the bottom.
Right.
You're on the top half, but you're towards the bottom of that.
Exactly. And I think there are still good. I mean, I think if everything went well in a given season, you get the right transfers in, could you make a run at the playoff? Yes. But to me, that's going to be an anomaly, not the routine. You are not building a team that's going to be year in, year out competing for the National Football Playoff.
Here's the thing. I watched the Husker game from start to finish. The true freshman came in. He looked scared. He had to run. The play calls had to be trimmed down significantly. So the Huskers are lucky to stay in this thing till the end, which they did. So they win that game. Then we're not poo-pooing them and just killing them the rest of the time. They win that game. They're 7-2. they're on the way here, and Raiola's not hurt. This is a totally different feeling. We went from Raiola's hurt now, true freshman in, and now we've said they're never going to get into the college football playoff.
Well, again, Nate, you haven't. Who have you beaten that makes you seem like this is a really good team?
Well, I don't think
if you had
really
beaten
good.
USC, I think you could make the argument. But you had USC at home, you had Michigan at home. You didn't beat either of them. You went on the road and looked silly against Minnesota, right?
That was
this
bad
is
one.
not a team. This is just an average team that if everything breaks right, yeah, fine, they would have been 7-2. Okay, I'll give you that. But still, there was never one of these games where you said, "Gosh, it's finally clicking. I think we're getting over the top here, and we are going to be able to maybe not compete with Ohio State, but everybody right under them, because I think it's Ohio State and everybody else in the Big Ten." I don't see that. I don't see anything in Nebraska that says
tough.
we are. I mean, you'd be lucky even with Raiola to beat Iowa.
Oh, I know.
Right?
I know.
It's Iowa. And I know it's Gronowski, but geez.
It is tough that the Huskers don't seem like they can. I mean, you got to think about how many teams is the Big Ten going to get in the college football playoff in a given year? 3,
maybe 4,
maybe pushing 4.
Yep.
And so you got to be top 3, top 4 in the Big Ten. Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan when they come back. Indiana now.
Well, but think about it, Nate. Like they have all these wins, but they haven't had to play any of the big time Big Ten teams. No Ohio State on the schedule. No Indiana on the schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, if we're gonna hand it to you a year where you don't have to do that, this is the year you should have done something.
Listener text coming in. Husker football should take all of their NIL money and give it to the volleyball players. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Come on now. Let's not do that. Let's see. Listener text. I told you the Huskers were going to go 6-6 this season. Well, let's not do that either. We got a true freshman quarterback now. So that matters, right? I mean,
now
they're going to go 6-6 or 7-5, and that's not accurate to what they could have been. So I had them 8-4, and every loss they've had, I've had it. USC, I had this as a loss. Minnesota, I had it as a loss. Michigan, I had it as a loss. So I've got their record perfect. I said 8-4, and I flipped Penn State and Iowa now.
Yep.
So we'll say, and I think that's how it's going to play out. But now with the true freshman, look out.
No, I
look
think.
Out.
First of all, UCLA is not a cakewalk anymore. Let's be fair. They've shown that they can compete. They didn't compete against Indiana, but I mean, certainly they've won some good games. So you got that's a problem. Iowa is a huge problem.
Huge problem.
I mean, I get Penn State is down and they have a mess on their hands, but you still got to go on the road to play them in Happy Valley.
And you can't stop the run, and that's all they do.
They're 6-3 right now, right, Nebraska?
Yes.
Any Husker fan would be crazy if they didn't sign up to finish 7-5 right now. You should take 1-2, run away with it, have a winning season, and that meant the true freshman actually won a game.
They'll win this weekend, so book that against UCLA. Book it against UCLA. The true freshman's going to get some work this week. They're going to put some things together. He's athletic. He'll be able to make some plays. Huskers win.
I mean,
UCLA, book it.
UCLA's probably going to be, what, like 7-point favorite? At home against the true freshman?
That'd be surprising.
That's what I would set the line at right now.
I'll take the Huskers.
I'll take your money.
Huskers this weekend. By the way, Disney, ESPN go dark this weekend on streaming. Imagine that. Matt Curdy, he loves streaming. Rob Kegron, he streams. You know who doesn't stream as much? We'll talk about it next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
It's the holiday season, and I cannot wait to spend time with my family and friends, just catching up, watching football and stretching the elastic in my favorite sweatpants to within an inch of its life. Turkey's great, but my favorite part of the meal is the gravy. I ladle it over my turkey, mashed potatoes, even the stuffing. That's why I make sure we always have a big basket of warm Village Hearth dinner rolls to help soak up every drop. Baked locally, delivered fresh daily. Village Hearth dinner rolls are the natural choice for holiday meals.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
Hanging with Brian from Anytime Auto Sales. I see new models of stand-up and teardrop campers on your lot.
Yes, you do. We're proud to feature the new SGC Armor line of campers from Bontrager Outdoors. Bang for the buck, there's just nothing out there like these new super cool Armor campers and Bontrager teardrops.
And the suspension these campers have? Wow, so impressive.
All our campers come standard with the off-road package. Bontrager and Armor just ramped boondocking up another notch. And right now, you'll get the best price all year on these 2026 ultra-light, ultra-beefy, option-loaded campers and teardrops.
You gotta check out these new look campers, people. The new designs are fantastic, and so many options for their size.
And so many options for towing. No need for a diesel or a big truck. These only weigh around 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, so they can be towed by almost any rig.
Check out these new 2026 Bontrager and SGC Armor campers, everyone. See AnytimeAnytime.com, and as always, at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows dip down to about 40 tonight under clear skies, southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Daytime highs approaching 72. Tomorrow, mainly clear skies. Lows level off around 35. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures a bit above average Wednesday and Thursday with highs from the upper 50s to the mid 60s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 52 degrees.
It's football season, and the best place to watch all your favorite games is the BetMGM Sportsbook at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. Wall-to-wall television arrays give you the best seats in the house and let you watch multiple games at once. Relax in comfortable seating while you grab a delicious bite or brew with a game day menu full of fan favorites. Take advantage of some of the best promotions in Deadwood when you make your wagers with your Clubhouse card. You won't miss a second of the action when you make the BetMGM Sportsbook at Tin Lizzy your headquarters this football season.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, thanks for being here on a Monday night. Always glad you're here. The Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio. Rob Kagron live in studio. It's a Reaction Monday with Rob. Good to have you on board. A lot to discuss tonight. Getting after it. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast if you missed anything. The podcast will be there on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Download the Nate Brown Show podcast. Search the Nate Brown Show, and you've got us. All right, well, I haven't had to deal with this because I'm one of those old guys that has all this streaming stuff, but then I stick with DirecTV. Yes, I have a satellite still in my house. It's amazing. But I have DirecTV, so I get all the sports stuff. I don't have to worry about anything. And don't tell me what it costs because I just forget about it. So I don't even look at the statements because I got streaming this and streaming that, and then I got DirecTV. But I don't have YouTube TV because I get all my sports and stuff on DirecTV for the most part, unless I have to switch into Amazon and all that fun that they make us do. YouTube TV goes dark with Disney ESPN. They have a dispute. Disney ESPN. Here's my guess, Rob, is Disney ESPN created their own app.
Yep.
They want to stream it, and you can pay $39.99, and you can get everything that ESPN has. And so then they have that, and so they tell YouTube TV, well, it's going to cost you this much to get all of our stuff. And then YouTube TV says, well, we don't want to do that. So then ESPN says, okay, we'll go dark there. We have our own app anyway, so we want people to buy it from us. And now YouTube TV people are out in the cold. You've got it. Matt Kearney's got it. Who's to blame for this streaming mess? Because this isn't going to be the first or last time that you're going to have all these other companies now are streaming, and now you're going to have these blackouts.
Well, to me, it's very simple who to blame. It's the leagues. The leagues being greedy human beings who have to sell to the highest bidder with all of these goofy streaming services, and the NFL started this mess. And the only reason I'm a YouTube TV subscriber, because anyone who's listened to the show knows I am like you. I am the old man on the lawn.
Yeah,
I have zero interest in streaming. I can't stand the fact that I have to watch television through the internet. I want to watch television through television. Stick a cable or satellite dish around my house. I have zero interest in this. But when the NFL sold the Sunday ticket away from DirecTV, and it's been with DirecTV for like 30 years, and you sold it out from under them to YouTube TV, well, a guy like me who wants to watch every football game, right? I don't want to watch the Red Zone, in fairness. I don't want to just watch my local team because I'm not from here. I'm from New York City. I want to watch the Giants play, and I want to watch all the games because I have interest in gambling on them and in just being able to know what's going on around the whole league. Well, I had to sign up for YouTube TV, so it's a hard justification, a hard sell to say, I'm going to have YouTube TV, plus I'm going to keep my Midco or DirecTV. Just,
no, you can't
for these.
do that.
So I have ESPN through YouTube TV until Saturday when I didn't have it anymore. So yeah, it's because the league sold out to every single one of these streaming services to try to make every last nickel they possibly can. And who loses? We lose. The fan loses.
But guess what? The sports consumer, they started this. They said, whoa, wait. I can get YouTube TV for cheap. This is cheap. It's a beauty. I've got everything. Hey, why are you guys using DirecTV and cable? I got everything. That's what the streamers wanted to tell you. They said, it's cheap. I can get everything. What are you doofuses doing paying all this?
Okay, you're right, but I don't want to say sports consumer. I want to say millennial. Okay? Just replace sports consumer with millennial because they think they know better.
Yeah.
They all think they know better, and they have the world figured out. We'll show you. We'll cut our cords. Now we all have to have 10 different things. We end up spending more money because you guys thought you were geniuses, and you gave the leagues an idea to do something different that ends up messing us up more than anybody. Millennials, you stink.
Okay, how about that? I don't know how many millennials. That one. But I don't know how many millennials listen to this program, but now like 5 are left after that. I thought we had a good fan base. By the way, though, the leagues are making a ton of money now. They're making a ton of money because they sell it to CBS still. And Fox, so we still have the big networks, and we get the new revenue streams from Amazon, from the Netflix for the Christmas games. I mean, it's just never ending. So how's this going to end? What's Disney ESPN going to do? They've got their own app. They want people to buy that. Are they going to go back on YouTube?
Of course they will. It's going to take a week or 2 weeks, but of course they will, because the fact of the matter is YouTube TV has like 10 or 11 million subscribers around this country. They can't just sacrifice. 10 or 11 million people are not going to sign up for the ESPN app just to get those games, when a lot of those people are Sunday ticket subscribers, right? A lot of them went for that. A lot of the sports fans went for that.
Yeah.
I'm not, out of principle, I will not pay for ESPN separate to what I'm already paying for YouTube TV. I will find a way to watch the games, but I am not going to give them more of my... I don't need the ESPN app. I have ESPN on YouTube TV. YouTube is going to eventually... Who's going to suffer? I am, because they're going to charge me $5 more a month eventually for their package. But they'll come to a deal. Yeah, they'll come to a deal.
So YouTube TV is going to say, hey, it's getting more expensive. They'll just keep raising their prices, and then everybody's got to have that and more. I look at this and I say, the sports leagues, they did start it, but they just see revenue streams. The consumer watching things didn't realize that once we go down the streaming road, now the DirecTVs and the cables are going, well, you already had all this.
Yep.
You had it for about the same price.
Yep. We had it all in one. I mean, if you and I were DirecTV subscribers for like 20-something years, right?
Yes.
I had everything I ever wanted with DirecTV. I never needed anything else.
It's something. So YouTube TV, there's some big games not on it. I ran into people at the sportsbook. They said, we came up because we have YouTube TV. So thanks to the BetMGM Sportsbook, we just brought you in some fans. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. In the books tonight with a Reaction Monday with Rob Kegron. The Nate Brown Show podcast going up right now, and we're packed. It's Jack's Yotes Week. We're back tomorrow with more. See ya.
Inheritance, romance, and investment scams continue to plague South Dakotans with high dollar